Hey everybody, Trollypatty here, the troll you can trust, back from the Walking Dead Rose 5 video, featuring the next part of our Let's Talk About changes that can benefit the game that can make it better than it was yesterday. Let's talk about it! Let's stimulate the mind and get the gears moving and see what we can come up with. If you don't feel like thinking and you're all like, nah, then sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Just know that the numbers you see can always be altered for the sake of flow, and not to be confusing, I will be tossing numbers into these ideas. As an example, if you hear me say every 20 levels or resets daily or weekly, you can think of it as every X levels and reset every Y days. That is the prerequisite talk, just to lay a bit of the foundation for the video, and without further ado, let's jump into this awesome and fun topic. Number 7. Faction World Map. Imagine a world map and combine it with Faction Assault. This will be a very long and hard journey for your faction in which you have a limited attacks per day to progress your faction through the challenge. Picture yourself going through the world map, but instead of everything in this day and age being super easy, we would have this world map which would take 2 to 3 people just to weaken the team by killing 1 out of the 5. This type of game mode can be YOLO'd, but it isn't YOLO friendly, and since attacks reset on a daily basis, this can potentially help people get into the mindset of working together or faction assault. There are 2 ways off the top of my head on how we can handle the faction world map challenges. Every week, the challenge changes. Just one hilariously large map. Just some quick restrictions on this game mode. You cannot faction hop to continuously get in attacks. You have a limited attacks per day. Only one person can attack at a time. Handicaps should also be part of the system, I feel, such as a negative 25% or 50% healing reduction. Number 6. The 100-story building. This leads into a wood dump mechanic in creating the building plus 90 floor worth of purchases. This is going to be extremely expensive. This will give having a huge storage of wood some merit. Once the construction of the building is completed, you will be given 10 floors free. After that, you'll be paying per floor 90 times. The restrictions on this will be heavy. There should be multiple difficulties to this tower, as this is a good way to recycle content. Let's go with a weekly reset on this, and rewards should follow suit on the resets and or on the completion of any floor. So let's get into the nitty gritty and let's talk about what we're going to be doing in this tower. The player takes a team and tries to make it as far as they can with all sorts of obstacles thrown at them, and when they die, you restart. The player is always displayed and given information on the next 10 levels. Do not worry if you happen to have a fallen survivor along the way, because every 20 levels you can switch in one person for someone else. Every 10 or 25 floors is a boss, because who doesn't like killing a boss? Right before you go into the tower, you can purchase one of many buffs to aid you to get to the 100th floor. The choices of buffs are: survey says defense buffs are 25% more effective, attack buffs last 1 extra turn, all damaging adrenaline rushes decapitate, 10% of the damage you do heals your survivor, status resistances, an extra 20% to any debuffs applied. First 2 survivors that are killed are instantly brought back to life with 30% HP. And when you get closer to the 100th floor, be expecting, in which we can include more than one of these. Very fast adrenaline rushes, way better weapon mods, more than 5 people we fight against, consists of debuffing and consists of team disrupting. In this tower too, we can have the introduction of barricades or things to hide behind where they give buffs when enemies or you are standing behind them. Just to throw a couple out as an example would be 30% defense barricade, a human shield barricade, a mending barricade, and they also can be targetable and destroyed. Also, maybe the introduction to mid-combat swapping between where your survivors are standing, and it would each cost them a turn to move them to the correct location so they can be better suited for the fight. This tower can also have a talent tree associated with it as well, that we would need wood to purchase these items. In this talent tree, you can have things that you can unlock, such as all damaging adrenaline rushes decapitate, so that it shows up in the list when you begin the tower on the first floor. Another option on here can be multiple purchases of the same item that increases with each purchase. For example, 5% of the damage you deal heals your survivor can be upgraded from 6%, 7%, etc., all the way to 10%, so we would end up having 10% of the damage you deal heals your survivor. Number 5. Have the buffs the towers give change each battle. It is extremely fun when the towers are in your favor for an entire war, but when it is the opposite, it really sucks. Granted, if towers were to be changed every battle, I would probably add an extra 30 seconds to the war prep timer to give people that extra time to think and prepare. Instead of having 3 towers capturable, we should have 8 to 10 towers capturable and limit how many towers a team can have. If 8 total towers, then the limit is 3. If 10 total towers, then the limit is 4, as an example. These towers are not as strong as the current ones, and having anywhere from 8 to 10 towers that can be captured and having a limit on how many can be captured will make sure a team always has towers. This will lead to strategies such as, do we go what is best for us, or do we stop what is good for them? Towers will only give buffs to your team only when they are occupied. At the start, only 2 towers can be captured for each team, and after a certain amount of minutes, the caps on the tower is increased, letting you capture another tower for your faction. If you have reached your limit on towers captured, then you cannot attack a tower that is not occupied by an enemy team. You can attack a tower the enemy is bunkered in, but you can only kick them out, and once you kick them out, they are unable to use that tower for a certain period of time. The tower is under your control during this time, but you cannot apply any teams to this tower if you are at your tower limit. Thus, you are not getting the buff from this tower. So this allows you to still play the tower game and neutering the enemy team stats for a win. This type of war change is pretty much made for defensive teams to win at the start due to the lack of offensive power gained from towers. But when more and more towers start to become available is when offense will really start to shine. Or if there is a strategy that benefits you more on the defense side of things. So a quick rundown on some new tower buffs that would be pretty interesting to see in the mix is faster rebuild times, increased camp damage, reduce damage done to your camp, increase healing, a certain percent chance to decap when killing an enemy, and a certain percent chance to cause healing reduction on your basic attack. Number 4. Faction Vaults. The total amount of teams involved in this game mode will be 6, resulting in a 3v3 battle. With the player size to start a game being 6, it should create a pool size large enough to have increased chances of fair fights, along with lowering issues of people in dead regions that are not able to make the team sizes such as 6 or 8, such as what a war requires. A team size of 3 should be easy for a faction to put together, and more than one faction vault per faction can be going on at a time. So now at this point you're probably like, Trolly, what the hell are we doing? Well, I'm gonna tell you. Each team will constantly be in an encounter, and to survive, teams will have to rotate between each encounter. One player will be on the boss of the vault, another player will be fighting walkers, and the last player will be fighting people. Walkers are into the mix because they're being lured here from all the gunfire of us trying to get into the vault. People are here because they're trying to back up their leader to the vault. Each turn will result in a debuff when in a certain section. The team that's on the vault boss every turn will have a stacking healing reduction debuff. The team that's fighting walkers will have a stacking crit reduction debuff. And the team that's fighting people will have a stacking attack reduction debuff. The debuffs per section are removed each turn that you are not in their area. So while I'm in a walker area, my healing reduction that I got from the vault boss will be removed each turn because I am not in the vault boss section. The rotation players go through is vault boss to walkers to people to vault boss to walkers, etc., and that would be the cycle. So now the question is, how does this rotate mechanic work? A rotate button will appear and can be pushed when requirements are met. The team fighting walkers must kill a certain amount of walkers before the rotate button can be pressed, and likewise, the team fighting people must kill a certain amount of people before the rotate button can be pressed. Once the above two conditions from the walker group and the people group are met, the person on the vault boss controls the actual rotate. All players will at some point be on the vault boss, so you will be the one in charge of the actual rotation when the time comes. Random restrictions also will be applied each match. The restrictions are made so that there are certain attributes that are just not allowed to be brought. This is going to be a small restriction as we do not want to completely destroy anyone from being able to put a team together. Some examples of this are, you must bring 1 yellow, you must bring 1 red, you cannot bring 2 support roles, you cannot bring 2 hunters. A full death of your team will result in a deduction or penalty of some sort applied at the end, but regardless of when it is applied, we will have some mechanism to punish people for not succeeding, but it won't be an instant loss. This could range from a deduction of points, a lower multiplier in which you gain points, or we just waste your time because whoever cracks the vault first wins. Number 3, the raid event revamp. There's a current problem I see with the raid event system, so let's just jump right into it. Granted, I do not know all the nitty-gritty that is happening behind the scenes with this game, so bear with me that this is just an opinion piece / perspective of mine on how I think about the rating system. So we have a raid system where the more we win, the stronger the opponents we face. So eventually we should be in a situation where we will be completely outstatted unless we are capped on all of our weapons and survivors, levels, ARs, and actives. Being very gear locked as well doesn't help the situation, especially if we are still able to progress our survivors, which really time gates everything. And if we keep winning raids, we don't progress, but who we face slowly does. I honestly see nothing wrong with this raid design to a degree, as the more you win, the stronger the opponent should be, but there is a difference between a good fight that is pretty even with the end result of you winning versus moving you further up the totem pole to the point where you just don't win at all. I also feel what makes matters worse in this scenario is the event itself requires so much from a player to win due to the insanely high milestones that we are slowly making it to where we can't earn the milestones during raiding events, and then it just becomes one less event we want to participate in. So eventually you'll be put into a spot where you'll be spending more time than you want pushing that find a new opponent button, which if I had to guess would be more time wasted than you would want, rather than indulging in the event itself. What really brought this to my attention is if I have an S5 team, S4 or S3, I do not think at any point I should ever have to face a C ranked team.
Please don't hurt me. Just take my rep.
No way. Slap dab Marino, give me that rip. Next on the potential list of changes to the raids is a multiple choice of raid. As we already know, every team has a team number associated to it, which dictates your team grade such as S3, S4, and S5. I feel giving us a choice of 3 people to raid could be in that happy medium for everybody. First person on the list to raid would be lower than our team number, which would lead to the lowest percent amount for rewards. Second player is exactly or very close, give or take, to our team number, leading to your average amount for reward. And the third player is the higher than our team number, leading to the highest percent amount that we could get for reward. Possibly also have this on a cross-region level for a bigger pool to make sure we are majority of the time displaying 3 options that are non-bot team. Next up on the list of raiding is raid tokens. Hearing the word raid tokens must mean you could possibly thinking the same thing I am. Yes, a raid depot. Personally, I am not a fan of this. To me, it's not a very unique approach, as it doesn't give me this, oh wow moment, rather, oh, another one. But still, it would be something new, so there would be a level of excitement there. These are obtained through normal raids or event milestones for raiding. What is in the depot, I think should be up for discussion, as I can see this being very controversial. Some would want the majority of the spots to be Ascendance medals, while some would really want legendary gear, and some just starting in new regions don't really need any of this. The size of this depot should probably look something along like, I don't know, a black market, or if you live in Florida, a flea market, to where you don't know what you're going to get, but who knows, you could hit something big. But the size of this should probably be around 14, 16, or 18. And before I upset anybody out there wearing the title Florida Man, I'm from Florida, so I can say these things. And now I have a huge feeling I'm being judged right now since I said I'm from Florida. And considering that we can raid and get points on a daily basis, I do believe that the refresh rate, if there was a raid depot, should be daily. And next up on the list is chain kills. This chain kill system would deal with our current system, but adding a little bit of help so that we can reach our milestones. So, what is a chain kill? Whenever we go up an opponent and we win, starts the chain kill streak, and consecutive wins continue the chain kill streak. So let's quickly mention what can stop a chain kill streak. Hitting find new opponent and losing a raid. At first glance, we should probably ask ourselves, why do we want a system like this in place? This gives us a way to get rewarded for personal challenges and a huge help in the very enormous milestones needed. The biggest challenge in a system like this that we can set for ourselves is never hitting that find new opponent button and just smashing whoever's in front of us, and for being ruthless and never backing down and still surviving an ego boost of some sort I feel should be rewarded. So now let's talk about the benefits of being part of a chain kill. Extra rep. Better reward drop chances, and we would show the percents based on how far along in the chain kill we are. More trophies and raid events, and the list goes on, even branching out of this current system if we were to have a revamped system such as raid tokens and a supply depot for them. To further talk about the better reward drop chances from this chain kill system, we could have something such as if you are on chain kill 1, you have a 1% drop chance for whatever can be dropped after a raid. If you're on your second chain kill, you get a 2% chance of extra items after the raid, so on and so forth. You could also go even further with the rewards here and actually give out extra rewards based on X amount of chain kills. Every 5 chain kills opens a chest. Kind of similar to like the chest openings in Survival Road. You make it so far, then boom, reward. Next up on the list, I think we should be removing that 5-minute timer when it comes to raiding. If we are to remove such a mechanic, then we need to think of why this mechanic is here in the first place, and that is to make sure the match eventually ends. If I had to guess too, at one point we all have been in that situation where we just needed one more turn to win, or just needed a few more seconds, but we ended up getting sent to the dumpster due to time. So, to make sure we have a mechanic that causes the match to end, we can time the turns instead of the entire match. This will remove all those matches where we are about to win, but that 5-minute timer got us. Having this timer removed will allow team compositions that are built for longevity, such as high sustain, high defense buffers, and revive. In case you are in the situation where neither team can win and it is an obvious stalemate, we can set a draw button that is interactable on turn, let's say, 50, but in that slim chance for some godforsaken reason you are not in a draw match and you need hilarious amount of turns to win, in this button you have to tap yourself instead of it going off automatically so we can cover all bases. A draw match should have no problem reaching any extensive number so that we can without a doubt dictate what is a draw match. A draw results in neither a win or a loss and a refund of energy. This allows the player to rightfully get another chance to crush their opponent the correct way and move forward, learning from their mistakes and running on that emotion obtained from the brink of death, also known as that second chance feeling. Feels good, man. With other feedback that I've received from my faction in the community, here are some ideas that I found to be pretty sweet, fun, and interesting. Be able to do it yourself so you can find out the strength and weaknesses to your team. Next on the list is real-time raids because there is no better feeling than kicking someone's ass during the present. Remove ghosting but have the rewards from raiding someone be based on the comparison of the two teams instead of stealing from your enemy. Such as if you're the underdog and you win, then rewards will look good. And vice versa. Number 2. A blast from the past. Let's all take a step back from our 6-star progression and the struggle that comes with it and put on a different color shades because we're going to mix it up a bit. The current generation in power is 6-star. If there's anything I feel that can bring something unique and cool with very little effort, it would be having wars that just involve 3 stars, 4 stars, and 5 stars, or something such as 4-star and lower type thing, so we don't screw people over too badly with this. We just had a huge addition of new characters in all grades, so let's have some fun and use them. I do understand this can really upset a lot of people, as if, say for example, a 5-star owing war. There are people out there that have fed all their 5 stars to make 6 stars would feel slightly burned here, which is completely understandable. But at the same time, I don't think we should be holding back on ideas that would be fun due to some decisions people made that were not in the best interest in the long run, even if it made sense or it felt like it was the right direction or decision at the time. How can we lighten something like this so that these people don't feel as burned? Well, we already know without a doubt some people will be upset, and what is the one thing that heals everything? That answer would be time. So let's say a blast from the past war is coming, we will want to give around a month and a half heads up to let people prepare on the first blast from the past. Anything else after that, if this is a reoccurring thing, people should already have something like this in their roster so they will be ready and prepared for a blast from the past war. This also may need to increase roster sizes too if this does happen to become a thing. Giving everyone enough time to sort of help get over that frustration and to see that this can actually be fun. Whether this is something new for you or it'll bring some nostalgia to you. But what do you all think would be the best way to implement something like this? Should we go along the lines and test this in a 24-hour blitz style war? Or would simply just jumping into a whole weekend war be the way to go? Let me know! Number 1. Raid Tournament. This whole setup can be region or cross-region based. We will deal with a bunch of brackets, month-long, elimination style, and this isn't a main attraction event, it is a tournament meant to be a slow roll throughout the month, getting people to have elimination style battles. You pick one team and ride with that team until you are able to switch again, and switching again will be based on how far you make it in the bracket, if switching is allowed. You have 3 attacks on your opponent to gain points. The person you are up against will also have 3 attacks against you to gain points. When all 3 attacks are finished or the timer for the round is over, your scores are tallied up and whoever has a higher score will move on to the next round while the loser is eliminated. Time restrictions are put in place so that the tournament has a flow to it, but it should also give you enough time to participate. Such as if a new month rolls around and the tournament is reset, then during the weekday rounds will last 2 days, and on weekends we can have a battle on Saturday and Sunday. Failure of both teams to attack each other will result in a loss, and both are eliminated. Near the end of the month, we will have an idea of the top raider for your region. After a raid tournament, we can also take the winners of these regions to represent their region in a global conquer. Yes, I am definitely talking about cross-region raid tournaments. This will wrap up the new events and revamped ideas video. Thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, made you laugh, informed you, or anything positive, give us a nice karate chop to that subscribe and like button. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Support's greatly appreciated. And other than that, I'll catch you on the next video.